All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, September 25th, 2025. It is now 6 p.m. I'll go ahead and take a roll call. Kevin Vandenberg. Here. Jennifer Vogel.
Here.
Kelly Swift.
Here.
Ron. Here. Edward Payne. Here. All right, let's go. We got a form present for council. Kelly, want to do that, please?
Most grateful Heavenly Father, please be in this room with us tonight. Lord, watch over us, help us to make good decisions for our citizens. Lord, be with those that are sick, and those that are having medical issues, that are hurting. Lord, also be with those that are traveling and help them find their way home safely. And Lord, please forgive us for going by your lives. And we pray all this in your precious name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Mayor's comments. I don't have anything right now. I'll hold mine off for if I have to. Moving on to council comments. Kevin Vandenberg. Jennifer Vogel. Kelly Swift. Ed Ron. Edward Payne. No. Okay. Comments. Moving on to citizen comments. Want to call your name up? So come up to the podium, state your name and address, and I'll give you 3 minutes to speak. So I have a Stuart White.
White, 617 Reno. I'm here partially today, but to delve into it, it was last week. I watched the vote up here this month to give Colorado the authority to hire and fire. I know that this particular agenda item had to be placed on the so what transpired, what happened in a couple of days, that all of a sudden, most wonderful. This doesn't make any sense. Whoever is driving what you perceive to be a refund, I mean, it's totally incompetent to program all this. That's on the case. In fact, it's totally incompetent. I don't know the inside of this, what's going on, but it makes all of you look like fools for this. You know, you're attacking this man. I don't know what said. I don't know that. The person you should be looking at, we've had votes the last few times. That have been 4-1. With Shelley being the dissenting vote, you realize that those votes, Shelley is voting against our city ordinance. He's going directly against city ordinance. That is not the first 2, 3, 4 times that she's done it. She has a running track record of voting against our city ordinances. She applies for her friends that follow her, the ones that, you know, elect her, I guess. Why are you pulling Paul Lilly up here? Big Shelley that should be sensitive. Shelley that should be a privilege.
I'm sorry, audience, this is I'm letting the citizens speak.
Yeah,
I don't need responsibility for audience for this thing.
Shelley's the one that's gone against the city ordinance. She's made several illegal ballot acts up there. She should not be up. You should have very pleased have her sensitive for everything. This Janae tonight, you guys need to wash your hands of that.
Amen. It's ridiculous.
Next person, Nathan Davis.
Nathan Davis, 855 Lady Third. Well, I want to be clear tonight that I'm speaking solely as a resident and not in the capacity as a city staff. However, I'm also making a statement as a whistleblower. Reporting misconduct I personally did. As a resident, I've seen that our city administrator does look out for our employees. For example, we have access to like popsicles, bottled water, heated shirts. If we're hot, we can take air conditioner breaks. I've witnessed a person hire a position attempting to intimidate me. Threatening that if I relay anything that has been said, that would be assigned to the worst work. Even mine. I do not take being threatened lightly. Additionally, I've heard the same person say, the more statements they have, the better in referencing to moving forward. This person has also mocked our city administrator by saying things like, oh, I have to be more professional and sit pretty. Mr. Levy has treated me and other staff with nothing but respect. Even though I fear repercussions for speaking the truth, I've always stood by doing what is right. Intimidation and sabotage only hold the city back. And as a resident, these concerns, I respectfully urge the council to investigate the intimidation and conduct I have described. I want to make it clear that I support the city administrator and the positive steps he's taken. His leadership is moving the city in the right direction, and that deserves credit, not opposition.
Now, Delinda Stokes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council and citizens. I think it's very clear from this room that we're happy with what Mr. Lowe's been done. I was really disappointed in seeing how this agenda was written up and how explicit it got. I'm not going to discuss the particulars because I think there's a HIPAA law issue here. I'm going to remind you all that you're here for all of us. You're not here for just your supporters, which some seem to think that way. When you get elected into this office, you might get elected by 10 people. You might get elected by one person that crosses over that line. But you represent every single person in this city. I have to agree with what Steve said on the fact that things have been voted against that are completely against our ordinances. I'm not sure the reason why. But I can tell you that since Paul has been here, in a very short time, I have seen things getting done. I don't expect employees to be happy because for the last 4 years, they've gotten away without doing their job and they've still gotten paid. We had to wait till TECQ got a hold of us to clean up our well properties. That's sad. And what about our trucks that have all of a sudden just completely decayed? Where's our service records? Has anybody seen service records on the trucks? Because there's no excuse for every one of those trucks to be sitting there and people not to be able to go out and do their job. Now I understand a couple of them are working, but that's pretty sad. When I left office, and it doesn't really matter what it was, but we had an excellent credit rating as a city. What the heck happened to it? That we can't even get leases? I find this very disappointing. You're supposed to be up there representing me, and I feel like if I don't stand up and speak for myself, I'm not going to be heard or taken care of or looked after. He's been here a very short time and he's gotten a lot accomplished. I think maybe I will agree with the others. You need to wash your hands on this one because you're fixing to take a bath in court. Thank you.
This person, Kim White.
They're on 345 Civic Wood Drive. Let me go back a little bit. The 9/8 public hearing. There's a Springtown councilman sitting in our room that I said something that upset him. He jumped up out of his chair and was physically restrained by a couple of his partners sitting beside him. You want to hold everyone else to a decorum, but when I did that, I didn't hear our mayor call point of order. Maybe it's because you don't like me. I don't care. I'm not here to be liked. This is my city. I come here, I'll parrot what Linda said. I'm here because I don't trust y'all. I'm here because I listen to everything that is done. Ask these people that talk to me. My memory is better than any of y'all's because I remember every meeting I've come to. I remember details that you forget. But what I'm going to tell you is you have a city to represent. You have a city to support. You have a staff to support. And when the first thing I hear is none of the staff is allowed to talk to Kim and Sam White, per the CEO of the city, because he demanded that. I have a problem with that. I talk to whoever I want to, and they will talk to me. If you are saying and doing something that should not be told, maybe you need to rethink what you're saying and doing. Again, the ordinances, yes, it was a 4-1 vote. It was a 4-1 vote because that's what was legal. We all know where Shelley stands on this. This is where Shelley's always stood on this. Shelley has stood on this to protect her trucking company, to protect all of that. That's great. That's why she got on it. And it's allowed to continue. My husband was a tyrant because he tried to put a stop to it. You're not a tyrant if you don't try to stop it. My understanding is someone addressed it, and all of a sudden, there's a witch hunt after them. So, every one of you, I know several of you, have all medical issues. I don't know what some of your medical issues are. I didn't publicize it. Maybe you need to think before you start publicizing something about someone that you know nothing about. So let's not pretend that some of you don't have your own personal agendas, because we know you're there. You're welcome.
Right, that's it. That's all I have. Is this comments? You have any more, Rebecca? Moving on to item number 7, the consent agenda. 7A, to approve the minutes of the city council meeting held on July 14th, 2025, July 28th, 2025, and August 5th, 2025, and August 21st, 2025.
Does anybody have any questions about the minutes? I'd like to make a motion to pass consent agenda A, approval of the minutes.
Got a motion on the floor to pass 7A. That's second. So I got a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? 7A passes. Moving on to item number 8, action item number 8A, discuss action to approve a jail service interlocal agreement by the City of Reno, Texas Municipal Corporation City, and the County of Parker, acting through its county judge and duly elected members of the Parker County Commissioners Court County, and in concert with the approval of the Parker County Sheriff's Office. Nope, you didn't decide.
Rebecca, what is this in comparison to what we had last year?
The price was the same, but it's gonna be the county prices, so we don't pay any more or less than what the county pays in the
So the price per, person, what is the difference in that, or is there a difference? Of what we're using?
There's no difference in what we're used to paying, it's just the state fees, just like whenever they pay a citation or anything like that, it's just what they, county charges. So there's not a monthly agreement or anything, it's just per
person.
Have a motion to approve the jail services and all four agreement.
Have a motion on the floor.
Second vote.
Be nice.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the jail services and all four agreement.
I got a motion on the floor to approve 8A, do I have a second? Second, Ms. Shelley, all in favor? Any opposed? 8A passes. Okay, moving on to the executive session, item number 9. A, to deliberate the employment, the evaluation of reassignment duties, discipline, or dismissal of all relief city administrator. Dottie, I understand we are not going into executive session on this.
Yes, Mayor and Council, Mr. Lewis has requested that council act on this matter in order to.
Okay. Paul, would you like to move on that?
Well, sir, you state why I'm here, please. I'll reserve the right to respond, yes. But I'd like you to read to the public exactly why I'm sitting here, why we're here.
And, Mayor, I would say for the record, go for it, and I would be along with the items.
All right, 9B, to hear complaint or charge against Paul Lilly, city administrator.
Prior to this meeting, Mr. Lilly was sent several fines, complaints, or statements concerning the conduct. And also before the city started about 10 minutes ago, I gave them signed copies of that.
And with those copies are also emailed to council for review.
Right, there is email to council, email to Mr. Lilly, to the city email, and also to the personal email. And I understand that they were.
You said last week, can you give the date that you said it was sent to Paul, and then the date that it was sent to council meeting members?
The, September 19th, there was certified mail with 2, statements that were signed. Thereafter, those statements were signed and emailed this week. I would have to say,
The dates that it said to the other council members?
the council members were also providing copies.
I'm gonna take a second, I'm gonna share the date with everybody that the council members received. So sorry.
No, no.
I'm sorry.
May I interject point of order here? I've got a question before we proceed further on this. Shelley Swift is one of the people who wrote out the letter in regard to this matter on their observations in this river development. I'd like to know what the appropriateness is of her basically being part of a witness against Mr. In the member of the council, she's considered you're against or against.
Any council member is entitled to make a statement and sign it. Any council member is entitled to be continued in every council member because they law forbids it.
Okay.
Continue. I can take it. What is it?
There's no, ordinance that this city that indicates that conduct is unacceptable.
If I may, she is a complainant under section 614 Texas local government code, is what she made her complaint on. I'm speaking, well, I'm speaking now. She signed it and it was delivered to me in written form, which is required by law, even though I just got it yesterday. So she is a written complainant under section 614 of the government code. I think at the very least, she should accuse herself for any further.
Yeah.
Citizens feel some of things. And I will address the 614, 614, it is, in the Texas government code for complaints against police officers. It is, matters, Mr. Lilly was acting in his capacity as city administrator.
That is actually incorrect. I don't know where you're getting that information. I am the director of public safety and the city administrator at all times.
The same or action or as citizen. As
But, there's no, I have no argument. She can,
Now, 614 allows complaints against the director of public safety and a position. It has to be free.
now you need to go back to law school. That is actually incorrect.
Don't say that.
I have
no,
a personal slurs against me.
Let me back this up just a second for you, to go back to, you're saying she made the written complaint that was directed only in his capacity as a city administrator, but in her written complaint, it states she was concerned about his weapon that he was carrying.
Excuse me, Jennifer. Can I address it? In my concern, it was a letter of concern that I wrote, that I signed. It was a letter of concern. What she's referring to is me referring to the handgun, to the gun. Yeah, you know, it's not one of two, you have your, one, two, to whom it may concern, on Friday, September 2025, I went to the city hall to talk to Mr. Lilly about the new construction and cost of renovation. I was told he wasn't there, he had gone to the embroidery shop on 7:30. I went to the water office to say hello while I waited. I ended up answering the phone because the water clerk was busy with customers at the window. While sitting in one of the desks, Mr. Lilly came in the doorway and started a conversation. He stumbled backwards into the door frame. I asked him if he was all right, and he said his mouth was throbbing from dental work, and that's why he was slurring. I told him why I was there, and he wanted me to follow him to the back and show me some things. While walking behind him, he swayed in the hallway at least twice. We got to the back, and he started telling me of the cost, etc., of the work being done. He wanted me to follow him inside the construction site. There were paper wads on the floor. He stumbled backwards when he stepped on one. I reached forward out of instinct to catch him. While looking to make sure my hands could catch him, I saw his gun. I jerked my hands backwards for fear of touching it. He did not fall. He started showing me more, and I told him I really needed to go. I went to my car and called Mayor Boss to let him know of my concerns for his safety. He told me he would look into it as he was going up there anyway. Shelley Swift, Reno City Council, please approve.
Well, what I wanted to add was that even if we classify this under 614, which the mayor has, and I have his electronic communication where it says this is compliant with section 614. I have no argument. It's in compliance, so you have no objection from me whatsoever. I was just simply stating that it is a complaint that I think ethically you should refuse. Now, whether you do or not, that's up to you.
Do you believe that statement that I just read? Do you believe that to be true of what happened on that Friday?
I'm not answering your question, ma'am.
So I'm gonna go back a step because I had asked Dottie when the information was sent to Mr. Lilly last week, and she gave a date of the 19th. The 19th for certified mail. Paul, is it correct that you had no access to any of your city emails or anything while you were gone?
That is correct.
Okay, and then the council was not sent out the written complaints until yesterday. But there's at least another city employee in the room that was notified on Monday of other evidence.
The reason why I'm pointing this out is because you're saying that he was notified, and I believe he was supposed to be notified immediately. Once you've taken away the things that he's used to notify, and the incident happened on the 12th, that's a pretty big gap. That's a pretty big reach for something that's a safety concern.
It was also probably.
Yesterday. And I have it, if you'd like to see it, it's when you send it to my personal email yesterday.
I have, I don't have any probably, and calling them.
It's all right, I don't object to any of this, but I do have a statement that I'd like to make whenever it's appropriate. All right, you're not gonna like it, man. And I apologize to the public for this, but this is, actually, before I get started, I need to hand out, those council members. And I think what I'm handing out to you, and I'm trying to speak so everybody can hear me, will, terminate this immediately. Otherwise, we're getting into, issues of, federal HIPAA, which we don't need to be doing. Okay. All right, I'm gonna come back over here to my microphone. What I've just handed there is, copies of, two different incidents. Let me begin, by such sort I can keep this in order. I'm sorry that we all have to be here tonight. This is embarrassing. We wonder sometimes why Reno has the reputation it has because of nonsense like this.
You're right.
So, Mayor, if I may, to begin with, and I need to categorize, and I'll be very quick on this. A few weeks ago, I was asked by the mayor to interview a former police officer. By the way, I see my officers in the back there, and I thank you all for attending. Very good. The fire chief as well. Thank you. To interview an officer who had resigned, pending termination. The mayor wanted me to rehire this officer. I interviewed him and I spoke with my officers in the department. Most of them said if I re-employed this man that they would resign, but they refused to work with me. So I chose not to hire this man, which did not make the mayor happy. A few weeks later, or a week later, the mayor approached me about investigating someone who made some open records requests and sent something to his private employer, which I don't agree with. That shouldn't have happened, but nonetheless, I told the mayor that was he wanted me to use my law enforcement resources to find out who this person was. I refused to do that, and if there was a crime that occurred, it occurred in the city of Fort Worth, and he would need to contact them to investigate it. But I was not going to use my law enforcement resources to find out who this anonymous complainant was via social media. So that didn't make him happy either. So now I feel like I have some sort of a hostile environment that I'm working in, but I continue to try and do my job honorably and ethically. And then the other day, just about a week and a half ago, the mayor asked me to interview an individual who I got along with fine. He's in the audience tonight. I'm not going to embarrass him, but the mayor asked me to interview him and possibly give him a contract for employment, helping the water department. He seemed to be a fine individual, but I did not think that that was in the best interest to do that. So I took no further action. That just gives you a summary of where I'm at. Since then, all of a sudden now, I seem to be public enemy number one on the mayor's list, and he seems to want to remove me from office. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to be succinct and I'll stop because I don't want to continue to talk further. Very important though, I told the mayor last week, or earlier this week, I sent him a message that any further communication with me needed to be through my combined law enforcement association of Texas state attorney, and immediately he responded that I was suspended from my position. Now, I've looked through the local government code, I've looked through the Reno code of ordinances, and nowhere can I find that the mayor has the authority. He does not. Even in my employment contract, I work for the council as a whole, not for the mayor. But trying not to cause a conflict, I've just simply avoided City Hall and avoided the mayor altogether. It is clearly a hostile environment that I'm working under, that I'm trying to do the best that I can. Now, let's get why we're here tonight. Last week, I suffered a medical condition that is protected under HIPAA, and I'm putting the entire council, and I know there's only two of you up there that seem to have an issue with this, but the rest of you, this is a federally protected, medical condition that I suffered. And you have before you what I just handed out to, the council members, a letter from my doctor specifically stating that, yes, I did stumble that day. Yes, my speech was slurred, but what we didn't realize was that I had an uncontrolled ulcer that was bleeding into my stomach. And, in the end, I had to have a blood transfusion with the volume of almost half my blood volume had to be replaced. So long story short, I ended up in the hospital for several days. And it got so bad, I was in Lake Granbury Hospital. The incident became so emergent, as they call it. They flew me by CareFly, helicopter to Arlington Memorial Hospital so that I could be seen by a specialist. Now, I'm revealing this to you even though I don't have to. This is all protected information under federal law, but I wanted you to understand, yes, I did slur that day. Yes, I did have a problem keeping my balance. And I wish someone had stepped in and said, hey, you need to sit down, we need to call you an ambulance or something, but they didn't have that.
Thank you.
And my mayor, unfortunately, mayor, you're not gonna like this, but while I was in the hospital, my mayor didn't call me. He didn't come see me, he didn't call any of my relatives. Instead, what he did is he went and solicited written complaints from my employees to try and have me removed from office.
He needs to be
So-
removed from office.
So rather than check on my well-being, sir, you went to employees, and those employees, by the way, several of them have said that they felt compelled to write this letter, because you were the mayor and you asked them to do so. I don't know, I wasn't there. I'm only relaying what I was told. None of them are here tonight for me to question any of them, which is highly irregular. So long story short, I had a medical condition. I admit it wholly and completely. It is covered under federal law. It is protected under HIPAA. It is, as you see now, I have a letter in front of me that says that I'm able to return to work 100%. And I'm ready to do that. I'm ready to put this nonsense behind us and move on to the good of the city. I'm in the process of writing a above ground water storage tank, grant for a water tower. I'm in the middle of, a COPS universal hiring program grant. What I'm trying to say is I've got a lot going on for the betterment of the city of Reno. I don't have time for this nonsense. Neither do you. This is ridiculous.
No.
I don't know, I wanna say something.
And council, before anybody responds, I would like to bring a couple of things. He was not suspended, he was placed on paid administrative leave. Under the contract on page 2, that Mr. Willie has been engaged by the city administrator acknowledges that the mayor and Mr. Crowe provide direction to the city administrator regarding city operations, household initiatives. So it's within the mayor's authority to strike Mr. Willie on the administrative leave, to strike him to the old body, be on paid administrative leave. The mayor under state law is charged with, the duties and responsibilities and to care all the laws in order to carry out that significant change in the local government. Also,
Mayor, I object to any further. I'm not on trial here. And-
That's also not what the amount was.
One hour, Donnie speaking right now. So
Mr. Willie is present on the trial.
Yes.
This is a,
I mean, you would say.
properly posted agenda item under the contract with the service for that period within council prerogative to have, the review of these statements and to take whatever action the council decides.
Could I finish? Because I wasn't.
I'm not done.
Think of the city.
Yeah.
You interrupted me.
I was told I did not do it.
Hey, point of order, guys. If I may, Mayor, and I'll wind this up and be quiet. So the rest of you. can-
I'm going to go ahead and Paul.
I'm asking the council to do two things, very specifically. I'm asking you, one, to, someone make a motion to dismiss this ridiculous complaint and, avoid crossing into a HIPAA situation for the city. The mayor has already exposed you to, in my opinion, to significant liability under IAED claims, intentional infliction of emotional distress, slander, and defamation of character. Mayor, you did that. Our mayor did that in his office.
So,
If I may, ma'am, so I'm asking you to dismiss that, and second, I'm asking the council, please, in a separate motion, please do something to address the hostile work environment that I'm gonna have to return to. I just wanted to, I wanted said that I'm returning very cautiously. I'm honored to work with the city of Reno. I'm doing the best that I can. And that's what
I spoke with TML yesterday when I saw this was gonna be an agenda item. I reached out to them, I did a response, and I did get an email from them today to summarize what we had spoken about, and she confirmed that the mayor does not have a right to put somebody on administrative leave. His contract does not supersede ordinances which are considered state law. And I have the email that you're welcome to look at, Dottie, if you want to, from TML. Her name's Amber from the legal department. Okay, and I wasn't trying to hear it.
Point of order.
I was formerly a female attorney. Female attorneys generally do not speak to the people when they know that the city is represented by the city attorney. So I'm surprised.
He also said to contact you, but you interrupted me and complained about Paul interrupting you.
And I've also, if I can allow, I've also stated from his contract and all the state law that the mayor is to, acknowledges that the mayor is to, provide direction to them. And also I quoted the state law to you and council that the mayor is required in the state law to make sure the laws and the ordinances of the city are followed.
On January 25th, 2021. This is meeting minutes from our city council. If you look at page 5A, anybody can look this up. Discussion of possible action on employee personnel policies and supervision of city employees directing staff to bring amendments. Motion was made by Councilman Martin to make Scott Passmore city administrator works for the city council and directed by the city council and to amend the ordinance and bring it back for a vote. Motion was seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Herrera. Motion carried 5-0. Shelley was there. She also voted on that. And I have several other instances in our own minutes where it was voted to change that to where it was council as a whole, not the mayor or the council or just the mayor, but specifically says to the council. And as a contract with city administrator does not supersede our ordinances, you have to fall back on that. And furthermore, whenever he was put on the 90-day probationary period, that is also, according to TML, it is also something that should not have happened. He should, if he had done something wrong, then he would have been put on administrative leave. And again, Dottie, before we leave today, I'll show you the email that I got from Amber, and she did say to further, question you about it after she gave me the advice. But after hearing the whole story about the mayor asking for 2 people to possibly be arrested is outside his purview, and how he was put on administrative leave illegally, she believes there should be a vote of no confidence put on there. She said, we can't do it tonight because it's already posted. It has to be for the next meeting. But I am having a continued email thread back and forth. I felt like I wasn't fully prepared to address this. And as a medical condition, we have no right, period, to be putting anybody out here in this sort of a situation. Unless the mayor thought that there was some illegal reason that he should be put out immediately, then he would have had to call an emergency meeting and do it right away. But doing it when it happened on the 12th, waiting until the 19th for notification, waiting until this Monday to put him out on administrative leave, this is not showing that there's an immediate danger that he felt. When he called me on the 12th, he said, I've asked Paul to go home. He is under the influence. And he described different things of what he said. He had a complaint. It was, from Shelley, as we know now. Basically, he was saying, these are the things, and I've been a medic since I was 18 or 50 years old. I am qualified to diagnose these things. Without proof of any type of a breathalyzer or blood test, we absolutely cannot do that. If that is suspected, Then he should have been asked at that time to submit to that, and he was not. Furthermore, we are being open to a massive amount of lawsuits. We should not be having this conversation. The necessary documentation has been proven by 3 different, well, 4 if you count both of the letters from Mr. Lilly's doctor.
In a confined office, nobody smelled alcohol.
That's
I haven't heard
nothing.
anybody say they smelled alcohol.
Corporate complaints said nothing about alcohol
Well, I do have a question.
or drugs.
If possible. I have a question. 2 complaints for people to be arrested? Is this true? Was this brought to any of our officers? For someone to be arrested? Who was asked to be arrested?
Yeah.
There was nobody asked to be arrested. Okay.
Were you asked to perform your police duties against a citizen or Mr. Lilly?
Probably yes. I heard it sound like yes.
I said, but
Yes,
Yeah, I would like
please.
to hear that kind of caught my attention, that's what I said, and I'd like to know why anybody, what would this have to do with Mr. Lilly being ill or anything else, what does that have to do with? So I'd like to hear about this.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Is our insurance
Donnie?
The person that is speaking, that is talking about this, and identifying himself as the name as a whatever he's talking about.
Okay.
You asked a question from one of the officers, I asked the officer, whoever answered, I couldn't tell, please come forward.
I have some knowledge, but not direct knowledge, that I have something that I think is related to this.
Can you come up so we can hear you? By the way, before you, yes, council members, I don't drink, I never have, I have nothing against him when he does, but that's not for me. And clearly, as my doctor indicated, my condition was because of loss of blood. It was very severe, by the way, too. I couldn't.
You don't have to continue to further explain your medical condition.
I already asked, right? No, I just want to hear about what this, because I heard the word, 2 people were trying to be arrested, and I don't know if they're not going to. Who tried to arrest who and why?
I don't have direct information, but I can tell you.
Sir, please state your name.
Oh, my apologies. I'm Jeffrey Dunlap. I'm the lieutenant over support services for the Reno Police Department. Yes, I know Paul. I've known him for well over 7 years. Friday the 12th, I've been with him in the car. We went to a business. If you don't know Paul, he's a joking, jocular person. Is how he interacts. I was in the car with him for a good hour. We drove to the city checking things. Everything was fine. He was a little shaky. He was in pain. I'd asked him if he had pain. He said, yes, but I'm not allowed to take them because I'm at work. And he was only going to take them when he went home that night. And I'm sitting at my desk, which is literally 6 feet from his door. And all of a sudden the mayor came up behind me, like Sergeant Estrada. He had gone and got Sergeant Estrada out of the patrol bay. I only have a second, and he goes, where the mayor said, I am removing Paul and sending him home. And what he did, when he went into Dr. Lilly's office, he said that he got an anonymous call of concern. Well, now I'm hearing it's a councilwoman that called the mayor. What he told me and Paul is he came in to see this. He wasn't on his way into the PD. He came in to see Paul. The way he went in there, Paul had already been deemed guilty. The mayor should have come in, talked to Dr. Lilly, and made his decision. We refused to remove him. The mayor then stayed for another 2 hours because I didn't leave till my boss left, talking to him. So I see a total lack of concern. Monday afternoon, I get a call from the mayor on my personal cell phone, and he tells me I am suspending Paul Lilly. And then he told me, you will be in charge. I suggested that Lieutenant Gonzalez, who had been the previous interim chief, would be the proper one to be in charge. And he said all these nice things about me. Now, this is not about Dr. Lilly, but I have already spoken to an attorney in Austin with the Texas Municipal Police Association. Because I feel there's a hostile work environment. Monday, I'm good. I come in Wednesday morning at 8:30. A few minutes later, he sits down at my desk and we talk. He didn't like what I had to say. He also implied that I would not do my job, and that's why he got the sergeant that Friday to come in. He said, "You're a friend of Paul's," and I lost it. But by that, probably 20 minutes later, 8:45, Lieutenant Gonzalez flagged me down and said, "The mayor has just come and directed me to put you on administrative leave." And when asked for a reason, he would not give one. I have been under fear that for some reason he's trying to make up a reason to get rid of me. I've done nothing illegal under federal, state law, city ordinances, city codes, and more importantly, moral and ethical decisions. I serve the citizens. I work for the chief of police, the director of public safety, Dr. Paul Lilly. I work for the city administrator. Then I work for the council. My concern over all this is, 2 weeks ago, y'all had a vote on discipline. And y'all were saying the city council is in charge of hiring, firing, and disciplining employees. I've expressed my concern to Kevin that makes it look like we are an enforcement arm of the police, of the mayor, the city council. You all voted that you all, the city council, not the mayor, as responsible to hire, fire, and discipline the city manager, police chief, city attorney, director of public works. So why all of a sudden am I persona non grata and he's wanting to be suspended? I can tell you this, and you'll have to ask yourself for confirmation. Lieutenant Gonzalez feared that he was trying to coerce it. I have actually been told by the attorneys that I should consider contacting the district attorney and the Texas Rangers. It's getting pretty close to official oppression.
Lieutenant, may
Yes,
I
ma'am.
follow up a question on this, on your statement? If this was such an emergency and risk for him to be at work, were you or any of your officers ever asked to remove his gun or his badge?
I wasn't. I heard someone else was told that he showed up here wearing a badge and a gun. They were to remove it from him.
And
That was not me.
can I ask for
That was Lieutenant Gonzalez.
Gonzalez?
That was not me. I heard it through Lieutenant Gonzalez, which I know to be an honorable, truthful person. But I also have concern over something that was said earlier. Dr. Lilly is not only your city administrator, you also hired as your director of public safety. I can find nowhere in the law, almost 25 years of experience. I'm not a police officer Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. I'm a peace officer in the state of Texas, 24/7. You cannot separate the two jobs. Under the government code, if someone is suspended, if they are put under investigation, they are to be given a signed written notice from the complainant at the time it starts, not days later. I feel that's another thing that is done improperly. It's my understanding the city council is not involved in any of this. And what I was told yesterday by the mayor, the council will be involved tomorrow. He also told me I am the CEO of this city, which I took it to mean he runs the place. My elected council members, even though I don't live here, it is their job if they wanted to call a meeting, if they wanted to suspend, if they wanted to investigate, it is the job of the council. If they want to direct me to do that, that's fine. I have not been told that has happened. He has done all this on your behalf.
Before I even ask questions of you, I should have said something that Nathan mentioned earlier about the whistleblower. That's a law that protects anybody from retribution, from telling the truth and doing their job or the position. This extends to any city employees that feel they need to speak on this tonight. And I would like to hear a confirmation from the Estrada or Gonzalez on these same questions.
And that's fine. They're involved.
If they're willing to speak on it.
Can I say one other thing? I can tell you that everyone's on pins and needles back there. We feel, well, at least I feel, I won't speak for them, that the mayor is running his own little fiefdom here, ignoring the council members whose job it is to handle this. Resign. One second, please let the councilman ask the question. Yes, sir.
I have a question. So it was recently pointed out that a hostile work environment is a federal term discussing, like attacking somebody based on their race, ethnicity, sexual identity, gender, whatever, those things. So for you to come up here and say that this is a hostile work environment,
I said I feel that it is.
in what capacity?
Monday afternoon, I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Wednesday afternoon, he is demanding or telling the assistant chief
Lieutenant, I don't know what title we're calling right this week.
He's the director. of-
Well, no, the mayor told Lieutenant Gonzalez he wanted me to put on administrative leave. What reason? And he could not give the lieutenant a reason, which is why I'm in uniform and why I'm still here, which is why I reached out to the attorneys going, no, the government code is in effect. It must be complied with. And that I would have the right to sue. Civilly,
I'm not asking about that.
no, but I'm telling,
asking in
That's
what
a hospital.
circumstances.
I am not an
do you feel
attorney.
that you're being targeted?
I am not an attorney, but I can tell you, you've all worked in a
Those
workplace.
definitions of the federal.
I'm not an attorney. I'm gonna tell you what every normal citizen, they know what a hostile work is. If I have a mayor who's already done improper actions, in my opinion, has tried to suspend the director and is trying to get him fired, and now he's trying to come after me, he is trying to attack my livelihood with no real reason. Now, I may be wrong on hostile hurt, but again, I just know when I work in a place and someone's out to get you, and someone's doing improper things, someone's not following your own city ordinances. Because again, if the council had come to me and said, okay, we're gonna suspend you, I have to accept that because that's what you all just voted on 2 weeks ago. It wasn't that the mayor could do it, it was the city council's responsible for the hiring, firing, and discipline. And if you remove the chief and the administrator, yeah, you did.
We voted to give them the power.
The power, and then y'all had a
Do all
discussion.
of that. The only things that we can still hire and fire and all of those things is the chief, the city administrator, the city attorney, and the city judge.
And when you remove the administrator, that puts you back in charge. And I do recall Shelley brought up, well, it will probably be uncomfortable for an employee to possibly be fired or disciplined by one person. She thought it was better that the person come in front and convince the 5 people. So that seems to tell me if you've removed the administrator, who's in charge of the city? Did you just hand it over to the mayor? Or is it the city council, as it what seems to be when you read it? He says, I understand it. You then fall back into that responsibility. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I mean, at that point, they would have to come before us to be.
When did you get notified about this? Was it when he was suspended?
Oh, them?
Yes,
A written complaint.
yes. So you let the mayor suspend the public safety director and the city administrator. Y'all weren't involved in it.
And we're talking about you.
I know, but I'm trying to point out, you were not doing your job for the last week. That's all I'm saying is, you all should have been here. The mayor should not have been acting in your behalf. And I understand, I'm not a lawyer, but even the TMPA attorney said, it looks like a hostile work environment. And he was suggesting that an outside source, being the VA and Texas Rangers, should be brought in to look at it. I'm not the attorney. It's up to you all to decide what needs to be done with the mayor. Again, my concern is there was never a single drop of concern if the mayor thinks it's this big deal. Also, why is he lying and saying it was an anonymous call when apparently he got it from Shelley, who called him? That's not
So, I
anonymous.
mean, but there were 5 other statements.
Point of order, I'm gonna go ahead and take control of this, we're getting a little bit too far down.
Yes, Mayor and Council, before, when I said I was, finished speaking, there was another point that I was trying to say. Mr. Lilly.
I'm not taking comments from the audience, so you can put your hands down.
One, Mr. Lilly has indicated that he wanted to be the director of public safety, so he could continue his CEO's certification. He indicated on Monday in a conversation with you that he had an attorney, Mr. Wallace, at, the police organization, and that's the Blind Law Enforcement Association. I called Tony Wallace and asked if Mr. Lilly, had retained him as an attorney for this matter. It was Monday, my call was at 2:36 p.m. He said no, he's not my client. I followed that up with the email to Mr. Wallace. I believe I copied it.
I don't think we would even need legal if this hadn't
But
happened.
what I'm indicating is, I don't know if he even has status as a police officer in Texas.
He had to get a background check that had to be approved before he was allowed to start work.
I understand that, but my question is whether he is actually, a police officer. that he's supposed
I
to
can answer
certify.
that question definitively.
And
Today,
sir, you are not the person to ask, we need to ask, you, not you.
well, I had contact with TCOL today, the licensing agency for this state. I was submitting paperwork and I did it in error. I did not put his name. The state of Texas Certification Board, TCOL, stated You are not the director, you're not the police chief. The state of Texas lists Paul Lilly as the police chief for Reno, Texas. So the state licensing agency, and again, I made a mistake on the paperwork, and I signed where I shouldn't have signed. So as of like 3 hours ago, the state of Texas People Commission has stated that Paul Lilly is the police chief of record for Reno, Texas. Don't know how it gets any clearer than that.
It was not the chief, it's the director.
Well, they have him listed as chief of police. The titles they use are a little different, but I'm just saying.
Supposed to do that job.
I don't know why you were put on administrative leave. He was not.
I wasn't. I was told by Lieutenant Gonzalez that the mayor had approached him and said, I want him on administrative leave. When he asked him for what reason, he could not give the lieutenant a reason.
I'd like to make it the record clear that it's not true. I did not tell, Lieutenant Gonzalez. He's standing right there. I didn't tell him to put you on administrative leave. I said, I may want to, because I felt you were covering up for Paul. That was the reason why that came up. And if I needed to move even further, I contacted Lee Dottie, our lawyer, on the procedure on that. And that procedure is being met by a video that has been given to us that Mr. Hector is supposed to review and give us a report on. Now, there is no way that I instructed him to put you on administrative leave, so the information you receive is incorrect.
Officer Gonzalez, can you confirm or deny that? I think it'd be easier to hear it straight from you.
Officer Gonzalez, the mayor did come to me, he did say, I'm going to put, Jeff on administrative.
Thank
I didn't ask any additional questions, because during the course of all this that was going on, I had COVID, I was not here. So I was trying to separate myself from the situation. So I didn't ask any further questions. So I just know that he did mention to me he wanted to put Jeff on administrative leave. And then I did follow what I need to.
Yes, sir.
Basically asking mayor, and then to catch up with you before you left. Did you come up with a solution or a decision? And if so, what is the reason behind it? And because I feel like I was out of the loop on things. So I just wanted to be in the loop, and that is it. That was all I got from that.
You didn't get a response to that email?
He said he did respond and said he was talking to you. That was it.
Okay, thank you. Officer Estrada, or, yeah. Sorry, so sorry. Can you confirm or deny any of these things, or do you have anything else to speak on this, with the entire situation? I would like to hear from you, if you are willing. I'm so sorry to be put in this situation.
No, I'm sorry. Ready, we're both, ready.
Wow.
Were bags, they removed any bags or gun or anything you personally were not at any time? Okay.
Is there any other officers or anybody back there have anything to say?
I was going to ask, so if that,
Can you run to the podium, please?
I was the one that was approached about if he showed up with, a firearm or a badge, I was supposed to remove it from him. That's basically what I was asking about.
Did he say one?
No, he just said, if he just, the lady shows up, to the council meeting with a badge and a gun, he should remove it.
And was that the mayor that said that?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh, wow.
I'll confirm that I did ask you to do that, because under, under administrative leave, you should not be wearing a gun and badge.
I would say that since you don't have a right explicitly on it, that you didn't read without consulting her money.
Point of order, I mean,
My
this,
biggest concern is that I wish you would let us do our job. When you called me on the 12th, you told me he was under the influence, you asked him to leave. He was upset, refused to, but you were no longer up there, and I said, the symptoms that you're telling me sound like a medical emergency. Did you call the fire department to check them out? And he said, no, he hadn't thought of that.
But two people that say
And
they
then
are
he-
concerned that nobody called the paramedics.
And then he said, should I go back up there? And I was like, I don't know, I'm calling. So I'm gonna give you the call on the 12th.
Thank you.
To the fire department and ask them to come out and check them out medically. I'm not gonna go into the details of the report, because I don't think that that's, I believe that's protected, we shouldn't be going into that.
Well, we made that.
Well, then I could go on to say that on September 12th, it says, patient sitting upright in an office chair presenting normal. He decided not to go by ambulance from here. And I'm not gonna go on any further on this part, but it says, at the time of day on the 12th, 1635, and that's the day that all of the written complaints from employees and council member are saying that that's what happened. And then on the next time I was aware of this was when I was notified by our city secretary, Rebecca, we called an ambulance for Paul. So I'm not gonna go into all of the details, but once again, I was very concerned about his well-being. In fact, even after just having radiation the day before, I got in my car, probably looked like I'd been run over by a car. And then I came up here to check on him. And, I was met by, Matt Neely saying that he had just left 2 tampons up his nose. They had witnessed on 2 different times that day this medical problem, and he had already gone before I was given an update. I came up here to check to make sure. And I wish you would have allowed us, tell us what's going on as soon as it happens so that we can do an emergency meeting and let us have a chance to have all the information and do our job.
That's not what
transparency.
Yes.
Yeah. I wanna say this,
Resign.
Resign.
Hey,
Let's
point of order.
let Shelley speak. I wanna hear what she has to say.
She doesn't deserve to be able to speak.
But we still have to hold.
Point of order, guys.
meeting.
Not gonna have to get her one.
Shelley, go ahead.
when I called the mayor that Friday, before I ever left here, I got in my car and I called him here and I told him something's going on. He came up here, later on, he called me and he told me that he asked Mr. Lilly to go home and rest, there was something wrong. He didn't go into what it possibly was, but he said he asked him to go home. He said Mr. Lilly did not want to go home. He felt, and this is what he told me, he felt that there was some kind of a medical thing going on with him, and Mr. Lilly did not want to have the care. Excuse me, he didn't want to be seen. He said he then called you, the mayor pro tem, and somebody who had experience in the medical field, concerned that there was something medically wrong. And that you had suggested that if he didn't wanna go somewhere, that maybe the EMTs would look at him. Is that what you told me?
He called and told me that he was under the influence and asked him to leave.
Well, but you didn't specifically tell
Hector
me.
did come back after I told him I was calling the fire department. Hector did come back and sit with Paul, he says for several hours. And I thought that was the end of it until I saw Monday he was put on administrative leave, and all of a sudden these alarm bells are going off. I'm thinking to myself, there must have been something else that happened, but surely it's not for a medical reason.
The only thing I knew about, he did say that he wanted him to be seen, and Mr. Lilly did not want to leave. That's why he called you and said, don't you think that, we need to see about if something's wrong. He didn't go into any kind of medical or if he's under the influence or anything else. That's what he said to me. Whenever he was talking about maybe, and it might have been Hector, it may have been me, I don't really remember something about putting him on administrative leave until he was, to find out what was wrong, and he said something about emergency meeting. And I said, I didn't believe that warranted the emergency meeting from what the code is for tornadoes, it's for floods, it's for hurricanes. I saw nothing like that. But with the way he was acting, and after reading the other statements, I mean, truthfully, I didn't think anything about the firearm except I was afraid of it. But when you read the other statements about how he was acting,
Okay, so I'm gonna clarify why he went on administrative. He was not put on administrative leave for medical reasons or for what happened on Friday, the 12th. Let me explain.
Please.
It's done. When the date that I decided to put him on administrative
you decide. Council would.
Yeah.
leave. A point of order, one more outburst, I'll have you removed, okay?
Leave on my own.
Okay, can I have one more, please?
I'll go.
Don't go.
Yeah, y'all have it. Y'all have it.
No, she's gonna-
I'll go. No, I'll go. I'll go. I'll go.
Thank you.
So you're saying not on the.
So he was not on administrative leave because of that date. Now, there were complaints, or not complaints, but letters coming in from, city workers, that, I was receiving. And I was also, filling in with the attorneys. And then one of the complaints came from one of the individuals and felt that he was being retaliated against by sending the lieutenant back into the office while Paul was out on that, or out on taking his rest for his medical issues,
Who is this from?
from the town.
No, who made the complaint that he was,
Matt Neely.
okay, is he here so that we can question?
So can I finish why you went on administrative leave?
Where are they?
So he felt that he was being retaliated against because you instructed Mr. Dunlap, or Lieutenant Dunlap, to go over there, and that he was on a hiring freeze, was not allowed to talk to the director that was just hired, he was not to ride with him and all this and that, and he felt that he was being pinched.
Did you?
So I got a hold of TML. Let them know.
And let me just
Yes.
make the record clear,
Yes.
this was not the TML attorney, that Jennifer talked to,
No.
this is your TML, interviewing this is your liability,
That is correct.
coverage, and your attorney that provides liability coverage for the city. This was the attorney that they talked to.
So I got a hold of TML, told them what exactly transpired from the 12th to the time that I got the call from Matt Healy. They said it would be best to put him on administrative leave because it would be less of a legal aspect to where the liability to put you on city admin leave. So I got a hold of Dottie, let her know what steps that I took, let her know what we did, and then from there, she told me how I needed to write it up. And that was the day that I let him know that I was going to put him on administrative leave.
So you're saying that the record, The record is clear, it was paid
Paid
administrative.
administrative,
There's
yes.
no effort. I have a question. Hector, you're saying that it was put on administrative leave due to the complaint from Matt Neal, correct?
That is correct.
But you did not provide a copy of that complaint to any of the council members for this meeting tonight regarding. You gave copies of the letters stating that he was behaving differently on Friday the 12th.
That is
So
correct.
where's the copy?
He didn't make a written statement, he told me verbally, so I made
And we cannot use that unless we have a written statement by him. That should not be admissible at all. Including, that goes with anonymous complaints as well. We can't use that for this
So
meeting.
those are the steps that I took to go down.
Hey, since you guys, said the name, about nursing, Pat Lee Neely is the one that tried to get that. Now, all right, well, Matt Neely. So I call him a liar, BS.
He's the one who told you to get all the crappy jobs that.
Yes, you said that if I say anything that's been said, that he won't fire me, but he will make sure I get the worst jobs.
Sounds like intimidation.
Yeah.
And he has, I'll be honest, I was concerned at first when I first seen this, from my personal experience. My brain was fogged at the time. But now, since it's clear, I can see exactly what it's going.
Did anybody come to you and ask for you to provide any kind of written complaint about Mr. Lilly? Yes, you signed the statement. They do statements for artists. Are any of the other employees here that signed those statements? I want to know if they were asked first.
Work for the city is what's doing best for people.
Are you in fear of losing your job after today or making it harder for you to stay on the job here?
Well, we'll do, but you know what, what's the right thing?
I think that's basically where you talk. Donnie, am I allowed to reveal the letters that were not signed?
I thought they were allowed to be used against him because they're not signed.
And when he say, when I said I did write something, I did, but I retracted it. And he texted me, don't be scared. We have a video that's gonna embarrass him. I got the text message.
So speaking of the video, when I first heard about the video yesterday morning, and then we were provided a video yesterday, but as soon as I heard something, I've known the business owner of this video for many years, and I personally drove straight there and asked, what was the intent of reaching out? And she said concern, and there's a copy of the letter that was provided. She said that the mayor had been there, and that anyway, it did detail things I don't want to go into because I don't want to reveal too much because there is quite a bit that still has not been revealed by Mr. Lilly. But after I listened to everything that she told me, she said he is welcome back in there. And it was not a complaint. It was literally just a concern of that something was very off. So.
Jennifer, did you happen to look at that video or listen to the video? Or did any of the other council members look at the video?
When
I
I
have
was,
not seen the video.
I know that it's the video.
But I've run through my mind what the worst case could be with this.
I think when I was the one that watched it.
Mr. Mayor, you schedule a while ago, but the letters start coming in, always. I received through the attorney 6 copies, six letters, 6 different individuals. All of them are dated date, but the individual wrote the letter, except Shelley's, and she just told me she wrote it the other day, she had to look at her computer for the exact date. So that one, I don't know exactly, she said the other day. Every one of these letter letters, every single one is dated September 17th. And the other is dated September 18th. Now that tells me there's something coordinated. And they're 5 days after this. It stinks.
I've been getting complaints about, something, and there's been a lot of stuff being said, and I think you need to resign.
I do.
A lot of people change the stuff. You can't do things that, if they're true, you have been honest in your job.
Yep.
And I think you need to resign.
Shelley.
I also, Jody, that's something that would have to be a special vote according to you now, it would have to be something. According to what they said, no vote of no confidence would be have that be added to the next agenda under personnel matters. And then we would go further.
Add it and let it reside.
I also like this person, my biggest concern, I have to keep an eye on everybody in the city. And if you're cutting the council out, there's a reason the council exists as a whole. So we can put all of our brains together and choose the best decision for everybody. And I feel like in this instance, you took it too far of being a CEO and cut us out and did not give us a chance to do our jobs.
I think we're kind of getting off the topic here.
Well,
I think we're on the topic.
What is the topic that we're supposed to be discussing?
anybody
show
a bigger picture.
Right, okay, so
I would like to end this whole thing tonight, right now. I would like to vote to end the discussion.
I have more questions.
I think
I have more questions.
I've got some.
Do anything further with this is more than I have questions that I would like to have answered.
Okay.
My questions are for Lieutenant Dunlap and for Paul, if that's okay. So we were talking earlier, you said earlier that he was kind of shaky when y'all were at the store and on your way back.
Yes, sir.
Were you allowing him to drive?
I rode with it. It's perfectly fine. There's a lot of people, especially in their 50s, 60s, have medical issues. They have a little shake. That's not a crime. I felt perfectly fine.
we cannot continue with this line of questioning when it comes to his medical. I want to vote in the discussion.
I'm not asking about his medical condition.
You're saying
He
is
is
he
a
shaky?
trained law enforcement officer.
You're asking why he is shaky.
No,
Okay,
I didn't ask why. I
okay.
didn't ask why.
Mr.
He's a
I just want to make
police
it clear
officer,
that
and I'm trying to get
Mr. Logan, may
information.
I ask you a question? Yes, he was shaky. Was I in concern or fear when I was riding with him? No. If I had stopped any car or dealt with any person in the public, I would not have thought, oh my God, this is someone that has to be taken off the road.
Okay.
I was not concerned.
Okay, that was gonna be my next question, because as a trained officer, you should be able to see that.
Yes, and as a human being, I don't want to ride with someone that could put my life in jeopardy. It's not gonna happen.
Absolutely. And, Dr. Lee. So when the people that were saying that your speech was slurred, and your doctor even said that your speech was slurred and you were off balance and all that stuff, why didn't you go home that day?
I probably wasn't in a condition to make that decision.
So I can expand
So
on that.
then-
I wanted to.
When the mayor came out and he asked you to go home because there was something wrong, right? Why didn't you go home?
Well, because I actually, I don't have a lot of memory from that day, but I do remember I was sitting there thinking, if there's something wrong, I don't need to drive. So I stayed for another 2 hours to make sure that I was okay.
One of the,
That's all I can think.
I'm gonna educate everybody on this. With the condition that has been provided from his doctors, et cetera, I'm not gonna say exactly what it is. Some of the symptoms are agitation, confusion, increased heart rate, low blood pressure. There's a whole list, and as it gets more severe, he may not even have been aware that the 12th was when those symptoms began. But as it continues further, there would be physical signs which were seen up here by some of the employees of that condition. And then even further, going undiagnosed, there's unconsciousness and death. Well, we were allowed to, so
I wasn't asking anything about his medical issues.
you
I
asked him
was
more.
asking.
I've got these authority on council.
It was a professional discussion. I was asking him that if he felt that his speech was slurred and he felt that he was off balance, why didn't he go home? It had nothing to do with his
His answer
medical
was
issues.
medically. An answer,
No,
confusion, education,
Is there any more questions you have?
I don't think.
To get back on the topic of the agenda item. The reason I came up here on that Friday to speak with him has nothing to do with anything medical, any kind of complaint, anything else. Doesn't have to do with anything. I came up here and I told him, I came up here to ask him about the construction that was going on. Because there's a lot of construction going on, you can tell me anytime you remember this. There was a lot of construction going on. I asked him, how much is this costing us? Because we know we have had a shoestring budget. How much is this costing us? He said, it's not costing us anything. And I said, no, it's costing somebody something. And he said, it's costing $14,000. And I got with whatever guy's name is that works with Lori. What was his name? And he said he can find $14,000 from line item A, B, C, D, whatever. He can come up with enough, but there's not enough for parking. Is that what, do you remember telling me that? There was enough for the construction, but not enough for the parking.
So I chose not to car.
Right, that's what you told me. But did you not tell me it was $14,000 for the construction?
I don't remember the exact number. I do remember that we found, before we even began, we found the money in the budget to pay for it. So.
Yeah, what?
Way off.
We're discussing the administrative, this is an issue with the administrative that I was having, that I want to talk to you about.
Well,
You
That's
guys
not
don't-
what you process.
You weren't there. You weren't there, you don't know.
Okay.
But they are correct, ma'am. If I may put on my city manager hat, they are correct, and we're off topic.
Yeah, we all know me, Kelly.
But it has to be over for evaluation, right?
Would you be willing to say, this has to do with the slurred speech? What did you have done the day before all of this happened? If you don't mind sharing?
No, I don't mind sharing. It was coincidental the day before I had dental surgery, and had some, teeth removed. But that was coincidental to the bleeding. I wasn't aware that I had a bleeding ulcer in my stomach. Which, became so severe that I had to be airlifted by helicopter. I just want to reiterate that.
I'd like to finish with the evaluation part of the agenda. If that's okay.
Part of the evaluation.
You indicated to me, and you said you may or may not, you totally don't remember, the $14,000 is costing us, and I'm asking you where we're getting this money.
Sure, it was the money sure, and I don't mind, really, I don't mind answering this, it's an administrative question, and if it can get us past. We had, $24,000 or so set aside for, the lease for the last 2 months of this budget year. And we haven't signed the lease on those vehicles yet, so I got with them and we're gonna do a line item transfer of that money. More than enough in that line item to pay for the, construction, so that you have an executive, a room, so that when you go into, executive session, you actually have a room.
Okay, I was concerned about as tight as the budget has been, and as much as you had to maneuver to get your salary in there.
Yes, ma'am.
I was concerned about that.
We had about 22,000 in that line item in construction, and you say, I don't have the exact amount, but 14,000 sounds appropriate.
Okay, so then I went and I looked to find out, because we're doing more and more, and I looked and I find out that this
entire project, it's going to cost us around $41,400.
That was actually.
We're talking, corner order, guys, they're talking about this evaluation.
Yeah, that is completely incorrect. No, the maximum total would have been about 22,000.
It's not on A.
Okay, I have the
Nine A
first,
is evaluation, for those of you that think this is on topic. 9A does also state evaluation, so
which is, I thought,
financial questions are part of his job as city
sure,
administrator.
and I don't mind answering them at all. Yes, I made sure the money was there before the project even began. Okay, so I've got that we paid $3,735 deposit for the first phase. I don't know what the first phase was, but it was the first phase. Then we paid an additional $21,165 to finish the first phase.
How much, Shelley? The
The
second one?
21,165. I haven't, because I've been on leave, I haven't seen that bill, so I can't speak to that. Okay, but that's what was, that's. And that would put us around the 22,000 that I mentioned a while ago that I was expecting. And then we paid an additional $2,475 for the deposit of the second phase. I don't know what you're referring to with the second phase. I have no idea. I would need to see the documentation. I don't know what you're referring to. Okay.
We signed a contract for the construction.
There wasn't a contract.
Who's doing work?
The
What's the
contractor we hired locally.
3,700
Contract for the.
payment for the first phase
There wasn't.
plus considered the deposit for the second phase?
No.
Since he hasn't seen his documents, he can't really answer on this.
I'm just saying what's been paid, not, I don't know what the
So you don't
contract
know
says.
what's.
Just to make the record clear, just really indicated the contract.
Okay, so I don't know what it went to, I just know the checks that were paid for this work. There was 3 checks that have already been paid for this work, and we still have an outstanding balance for the final payment for the second phase is $14,025. I categorically deny that, I have no idea. Okay, the $14,025 has not been paid yet. Ma'am, I have no idea what that bill is for, I haven't seen it, so I can't speak. Okay. That makes the total of what I was told of what's been paid and what is still owed of $41,400 for the total project.
Well, Shelley, if there's no contract
Well, if there's
and
no
he
contract,
doesn't
that's a
see
different-
what's in writing, then
Well, somebody.
that it can't add up unless,
There's already been 3 checks that they've already cleared the bank.
well, they're at the same company? Were
They're all
they for the
for-
same
they're all for
project?
the same
Were
project.
they,
There's two phases of the construction.
do you have invoice for that? I'd like to see it myself.
I would like to see that too. You're speaking to something I haven't seen. We can
None of us.
request it and then we'll request it and have it, you know.
Okay.
I just, listen, this is getting in towards challenging my professional reputation. I would never have allowed a project. I'm just questioning the, I told you to your face, no him on around, that I watched the man. You remember me telling you that? I watched, you hang around city council, you hang around city hall a lot, so I see you, quite often. Okay, so I watched the man. It's not all I watch, but I do watch the man. I do as well. Everybody's. I do as well. Okay.
Was there something else on that, Shelley? Did you finish asking everything you wanted to ask on that?
Well, I was also just looking at, general, and what we actually have in the bank. And what's left in the bank. Until I was put on leave, I checked that day. And, these checks that you're mentioning haven't been paid while I was on leave, because I did not approve. Okay.
I have another question.
Yes, sir.
So you started a construction project.
Yeah, we can get that.
All right, so you started a construction project and you didn't get quotes.
Sure, I got 3
And
quotes.
there was no contract.
Sure, I got 3 quotes, and the project, as you saw, is just 2 walls that were put up. It's not like we remodeled all of City Hall, we just put up an L-shaped wall. But yes, I got 3 quotes, and went with the lowest, quote for the price, which was, something hanging out for his own. But no, I don't have a written contract for it. It was just, like I said, 1 wall that he put up at the door. Sure, I wasn't required to come to council for that amount, or if I had been required, I certainly would have. You'll know that with me, what is right and what's wrong is wrong, no matter who you are or what position you're in. So if I was required to come to council, I would have, but it was significantly under that amount. And I had identified with, I had the exact amount of money that we had to pay for that, so I went forward with the project.
Alright, the other invoices that she's talking about. As soon as you can, I would like an explanation.
I would love to see them, yes, sir, but since I've been on leave, I haven't been able to see them.
Because she's saying that it's all related to that one project.
Well,
That seems like a lot for.
certainly does, it certainly does, and if that be the case, I'll handle that, but I can only handle that when I'm back in office. And right now, the mayor has me supposedly on administrative leave.
But that's why I just had an issue with, our stuff is going on.
I just switch that, I'll just say that I admire you watching the budget, I do the same, I watch it every single day that I'm.
Mayor and council, I just like to state for the record, I know that at one point we did bring some purchasing policies in the city. I don't think the city has ever adopted any purchasing policies that are in compliance with state law.
Okay, in some discussions, and for anybody else who was present in the situation that can answer this, it's not just aimed at those men. But at least two of these letters we've done mention. At any point, anybody observed that removing this firearm from its holster, waving it around, or dropping it? Anybody who can say that happened?
I have never personally witnessed any improper firearms handling. I know he carries two firearms, one a Glock, sometimes a revolver. They've always been in a holster. I've even gotten onto him a couple times when we've gone out to lunch. He's got his badge, he's not wearing a gun. I have to remind him he's a police officer, he puts his gun on. But I've never seen him pull it out with that. Not only my.
Well, I'm always concerned about.
But not only like that, I'm a firearms instructor. I would never allow that to happen.
So the short answer is no.
The answer is no. I'm sorry. You know me, I talk too much.
Well, we all have those episodes. Okay. There's some discussion that you might have been drinking. Somebody said they smell alcohol. Not one of these letters make mention of smelling alcohol. Is there any witness to this that can say they smell alcohol?
It sounds like they smell the alcohol.
I didn't hear you.
No.
I've heard anybody say anything about smell, so.
I saw something similar to, but I don't know where I saw it. I have to go back for everything now.
Well,
But
and again, for the record, I have no problem with anyone that drinks alcohol that I never have. I don't drink period.
Good. Yeah. On what happened to Dr. Lilly, I'm gonna empathize with him. You guys a story I told once in the last week. 2 years ago, I had to have foot surgery. Doctor indicated that my X-ray showed I had calcifications and things and stuff. So I had to go to another place and have my thing basically kind of reamed out and clean up with it before I had that foot surgery. When I was, now I've had a number of operations. I've had anesthesia multiple times. No issue. When I was coming out of the anesthesia, my chest felt, my heart felt like it felt down my chest, my heart felt like it was coming out, pounding like I got branded about it, I called nurses, I said something's wrong, and then I had a heart attack. Mr. Braun, your vitals are normal, you're fine, you're just coming out of the anesthesia. I said, I've come out of anesthesia before, this is not right, something's wrong. I was frantic and getting angry because they weren't paying attention to me. Okay. Now I was getting scared because I thought I was having a heart attack. About 2-3 hours later, I'm finally off anesthesia enough, everything back to normal. It showed me a crown out of my body. For some reason, that one moment, all the times I've had anesthesia, one moment, I had a bad reaction. He's dealing with loss of blood. And that can affect kids some ways like that. So I can emphasize and see how something may have happened given the medical situation. So again, multiple times we're gonna see. And one episode.
And with you saying that story, there's other things, other medical conditions that would mimic, ETOH, alcohol abuse, diabetes. And they also have confusion, they have, loss of memory at times. Sometimes they won't even know they have it, it's completed, but they also put off ketones in their breath that smells like alcohol. And it's not, I can give you an example, the little girl that was killed in the Target parking lot in my work was because the driver was coming across, he had a diabetic emergency and it killed the child. I don't know how much you know about that, but there's a lot of medical conditions that mimic. And I wish the first call had been to 911 and not me or the mayor or Dunlap. I wish, or at least call the non-emergent line and have the fire department come over and check on this vehicle and rule it out, or confirm what suspicions you have.
Well, I think that what I was saying earlier about, the mayor asking him to go, to go home, have somebody drive him home, and then he didn't want to go home, he didn't want anybody drive him home, and then he called you because you have medical experience, and, I mean,
That's not why he called me. He didn't even think about the medical side until I said, Mayor Hector, and I feel like he'll admit to this, I said, did any, these sound like symptoms of a medical issue? Did anybody think to call and get the fire department over? He just called and it was end of statement. He's under the influence. I asked him to leave. Whenever he wouldn't leave, he seemed angry, and I said, that doesn't sound like Paul. Definitely sounds like a medical problem. I'm gonna go call fire department and get somebody over there. And then Hector decided to leave, so come back, and then sat with him after the fire department left. That's how the conversation ended. I'm getting off phone, I'm calling. So.
With the fire department.
Okay, 2 reports that Paul provided said that the patient appeared normal in the first one. On the page back. Patient sitting upright in an office chair presenting normal. And then on the second one, even further, it says that the patient did not have slurred speech. And so that's 2 separate reports from the fire department, one that I called and one that Rebecca called. And in each one, it was determined that, to the best of their emergency services ability, that he was okay, other than, the donor surgery missing 2 teeth from the day before.
but he admitted in the hallway that he had slurred speech, and that his mouth was throbbing from it. That's, I mean, he admitted to having slurred speech. And it wasn't, did have, nobody said anything about alcohol. I'm not saying about alcohol. I'm not saying he's on anything else. I'm saying what he repeated to me, what he told me, is that his speech was slurred because he had had dental work done in the hallway. I didn't ask him about if he was drinking or.
That is correct. That is correct. I concur. But now you can see the damage that this has all done to my reputation.
Well, I mean, I understand what you're saying about damage to your reputation, but I don't think there should be damage to it because we're questioning.
I'm not came over to look at him.
We need to leave. Yeah.
Moses, were you one of the people who came over to look after him? Okay. I just curious.
Moses, you're aware of the situation because I called you and said, oh my gosh, I'm afraid that our city administrator is possibly having a severe medical emergency, either maybe a reaction to medications that he was prescribed or possibly even a stroke, can you get somebody over there right away to check on him?
I didn't think about prescriptions or medicine or anything, I didn't have any idea. He's the one that told me, he didn't. There were
In all
no drugs or
fairness-
alcohol brought up.
Hector and Shelley are not licensed medically at all to make these determinations.
And yet.
But then after, I understand, but that I am, and that's why I made the call and said, I didn't ask permission, I made the call and got them over there.
So
Yes, I can.
if I may, back to what I requested the council is that we just simply, this is a HIPAA situation, we don't need to go any further into it. I apologize that we're even here, that we're even having to be sitting here, it's embarrassing. And I apologize for that, but, please recognize that I had a medical condition that is protected under federal law. I've got it under control now.
Make a motion, just,
Let's make a motion as we end this discussion with no further action.
Apology.
Yes.
I got a motion on the floor to, end this discussion on 9P.
Second.
9B, I got a second. And Ron, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 9AB passes.
How many abstained? You only had 3 ayes.
I went along with the motion.
Okay.
Mic's not working.
My mic, so
Would you like, we just,
I said I.
This man deserves a big apology.
Yes.
I agree. We're taking hurt. I'm sorry. It's now out in public domain. And this is very upsetting to me, because I wouldn't want anything like this done to me.
Embarrassing. Exactly.
I'm sorry. I said one thing when I joined this council, because I want to do it right, and it was fair for our citizens, and I don't see that. And I'm tired of it. I am tired of that. But it's not fair, right? This is the thing.
Sally, you
So-
could report to work tomorrow. Is that correct?
It's up to the council, the mayor put him on the pages on the page and under this agenda item, we can remove him from the page and say, it talks about the, council.
That motion, that's all.
If you'd like to have
I'm
another.
going to make a motion that he is removed from administrative leave immediately and returns to work first thing tomorrow morning.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor to fall back into active service.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it. Paul, you're back to work tomorrow morning?
Do a good job, Paul.
Thank you, council. Thank you, council. How are you finding the conversation?
No, get GPS in.
You don't make me sweat.
It's the ranger.
They don't. And we don't. Yes, yes. The best chance, right there. He's overfull.
Resign, Mayor, resign.
You know what?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Got a motion on the floor to adjourn?
Second.
Got a second, all in favor?
Hector and Shelley, you both need to resign
We're
immediately.
adjourned.
You both need to resign